Hello again, everyone. Today we're looking at measures of central tendency, which most people remember as mean, median, and mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at first the set of data, the numbers that we have on the screen here, and what we're going to do is we're going to find the mean, median, and mode for this set of data. So anytime that we're dealing with measures of central tendency, the most important first step is always to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that first. So there we go. Now our numbers are in order from least to greatest, so now we can actually go through and look at what all the different values for these things are. So let's start with what I always consider to be the easiest one. First, we're going to find the mode. Now the mode is the number that occurs the most often. So if we look at the numbers that we have on our screen, we have 40, 45, 48, 50, 50, and 59. So of those 6 numbers, the mode is going to be the one that shows up the most often. Or in this case, the mode is going to be 50, because it shows up twice and none of the others show up more than once. So there's our mode. Next, we're going to look at the median. Now, the median usually is the number that's in the middle of the list, meaning if we were to go from one end and come into the middle from each end, whatever number is in the middle is the median. However, with this set of numbers, we have 2 numbers that are in the middle. 48 and 50 are the middle numbers. We have 2 numbers on each side. So when that occurs, what we have to do is we have to take 48 and 50 and add those together, and then we divide that value by 2. So 48 plus 50 would be 98, and we divide that by 2 and we end up with 49. So for this problem, our median is 49. Now for the last one. Now we're going to find the mean. And the mean, of course, is something that most of us probably remember as being the average of the numbers. So the way this one works is we're just going to go through, we're going to add up all the numbers that we have, and then divide by how many numbers are in our set of data. So we're going to have 40 plus 45 plus 48 plus 50 plus another 50 and then plus 59. And if we count up how many numbers we have in our set of data, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to divide by 6. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here, and I'll just tell you right now that if we were to add up all of this together, we would end up with 292. So 292, and we have to divide this by 6. Now, if we do divide this by 6, we're going to end up with a repeating decimal, specifically 48.6 repeating. So that would be the mean of our data. Now, if you were taking a test and you were supposed to round this off to the nearest tenth, then you would have 48.7 as your final answer. So this is how you find the mean, median, and mode. Lastly, I'm just going to add one more number on here. We're not going to recalculate anything, but I wanted to make one more observation. Oftentimes, they'll ask if there are any outliers. So if someone asks you if there's an outlier for a set of data, what they're really asking is there any number that doesn't seem to fit with the rest? So if I were to have added one more number, for example, let's say that I had added, when I first started this problem, the number 88, 88 would be an outlier because it is so far away from the other numbers in our set of data. So that's what an outlier is. It's just a number that's really far out. Alright, let me give you another set of data and we'll see if you can find the mean, median, and mode. Okay, so here we have a new set of data, and I'd like you to go ahead and pause the video, and when you're finished finding the mean, median, and mode, I'll go through and I'll see if you guys got it all right. Okay, so here we have our data, and remember that our first step should always be to rewrite everything in order from least to greatest. So first, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a 10, 11, 2 12s, a 13, and then 2 15s. So here is my data in order from least to greatest. As always, I'm going to start with what I seem to think is the easiest to find, and that's the mode. So my mode, remember, is that the number that shows up the most often. Now in this case, there are two numbers that show up twice, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having more than one mode. So we would say that the mode is both 12 and 15. Next, we would look for the median. And the median this time is actually in our problem. If I start at the left, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 numbers here, and 1, 2, 3 numbers on the right, and one number, this 12, in the center. So my median is going to be the number 12. Finally, we need to look for the mean. So if we solve for this, we're going to have to add all of these together. 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 plus 15 and 15. Oops, 15. And this time we have 7 numbers, so we're going to have to divide by 7. So if we add all of these together, we're going to end up with 88 over 7. And then, of course, our final step would be to actually do the division, and 88 divided by 7 would equal 12.57. And we're actually going to say that it's approximately equal to 12.57. Because if we were to actually find an actual answer, the decimal continues on for a few more digits. And usually once you hit the hundredths place, that's close enough. So we're going to say 12.57 is the mean of this set of data. So hopefully that went well. Hopefully you got what you needed. Lastly, do we have an outlier on this problem? And hopefully you all realize that this time we don't have any outliers. All of these numbers are pretty close together. Just as a side note, just because it just popped into my head, if I were to ask you for the range of the set of data, the range is a simple subtraction problem. You take your greatest number value and you subtract your smallest number value. So in this case the range would be 5. Okay, there we have it. That's how we find the measures of central tendency, also known as mean, median, and mode. And hopefully that will be all you need in order to answer any of these types of questions.